This conference will now be recorded.
All right, as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only. Nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. Oof. All right, so today is Wednesday, October 10th. We are now pretty much a third through the month already. These days just continue to fly by. We got some decent things going on out there. Now, first thing I'm looking at is NBCN. So as of right now, we're pretty much on a pullback. We had some really good volume that pushed this thing back up. And first to the table, we do have some bid prints that came in at 450. But first to the table, we did have a nice little burst of ask prints. And then above that, as well as it pushed up, we got even more new buying up there. So as of right this second, you can see the 4 level is a little bit mixed, but if we come back down, you can see we got some decent buying coming in at that 4 as this thing was coming back down. So certainly has the buying for us to be able to continue and get back up to this double top. It's just going to be that pullback because of all that buying that we had at the 4 level. So definitely liking what I'm seeing there. Volume's absolutely phenomenal, 3.4 million shares already. So we certainly can see that this thing is going to be trading a lot more different than it usually does, considering the fact on average it trades about 1 million shares, and we've already, we've more than tripled that already. So going to be keeping a close eye on that. Next one, IGC. So IGC coming into this morning, and I don't know if it's going to let me scroll all the way back, but it's been getting some really good buying. And now I know the volume as right this second isn't that great, but if we look and come back over here, you can see real nice burst of buying that came in at that 6 level. And if you look at the time over here, 7:15 in the morning. So, I mean, that is, an odd time, especially considering the fact if we look at most of the orders out there, the orders are very, very thin. So at 7:15, you can only imagine what the actual orders themselves look like. Can get shares this morning too. Beautiful. So even, at 7:15, we could imagine that the orders are very, very thin. And for it to be able to get back up there and not only get up there, but print, really well, shows us that, after this pullback that we have coming back in, no reason we don't see this thing get back up above that 6. Next thing looking at is NIO. Now, NIO is, I haven't seen anything that's that great. And I went back and I was looking, and I really didn't print at all around that 8 level. We've got some great buying above it, but really there's only been some bid prints at 8, which I'm just not really a big fan of. When we see that, a lot of times what ends up happening is we get these pushes, and then we end up seeing them come back down. So I really would like to see, especially if it gets up there, if it's coming up to this double top, for us to be able to get closer to about 850 and give us a little bit more information. But overall, there's no question about it. There is some really great new buying coming in, just not the controlling buying that I really would have liked to see coming into it. But like I said, I mean, there's no lack of new buying as this thing has pushed up above that 8. So certainly going to be keeping an eye. It's in that kind of that gray area. It's not as black and white as I would have liked to see it. And, at the same time, I mean, if you look at the chart, it's a very ugly chart this morning in the pre-market, just very consolidated within its movements. But like I said, I mean, no lack of buying. It's got 5.1 million shares already. So you're going to see lots and lots of prints coming into this. It's just a matter of getting those controlling prints that show us exactly what it has to do. And then PYX. So PYX made a little bit of a jump earlier this morning, but it's coming right back down to where we saw it coming in yesterday in the aftermarket. I mean, a beautiful aftermarket move. We knew we had the selling. We pulled up from all that selling yesterday, coming into the close, and then once the market closed, we came right back down. So one thing that I am looking at as well is that the fact that this thing moved up on nothing. So this pull up there, just absolute garbage. We do have some bid prints that came in at 37.50. We do have some bid prints that came in at 40. So there's still selling going on. Make sure if you're at TradeStation, you go out there and you request your shares, because as of right this second, it's still showing that we have more room towards that downside. What a beautiful trade this was for us in the close yesterday. I mean, it just went exactly where we thought it was going to go. Our traders exchange, we talked about it was going to fill this gap based off of the selling that we had at that 45 level, and it did not disappoint whatsoever. So just continue. I mean, we got some good prints coming in. We still have some new selling that's just showing us. So we're certainly showing that we have more room towards that downside. And then that's pretty much about it. There's some other stuff out there that I see, but nothing that I'm really that interested in. So IGC, I just want to point this out as we're going in before as we're going into the completion of our meeting. But if we look right here, look at this new buying that just came in at 574. Okay, that is what we call a burst. All right, that's a lot of shares. And once again, like I said, we have buying up at that 6. So don't sleep on the stock, even though it kind of had a down day yesterday. You know, it doesn't mean that we don't end up coming back up, because it pulled back off of what we knew it had to pull back on. It had tons of buying tells us it's going to end up coming down. So NBEV, this is an interesting one. So this morning, I've been looking for a reason to like it, and it won't give me one. I mean, it literally will not give me one. You can see as it came up to that 650, really great buying underneath, but it just at 650, it printed bid. It just, IGC certainly like a lot more. Now, do we know there's more buying up above in NBEV? We do. It's just, you know what, I need to see something else. I'm going to put NBEV on our side list just because of the fact that it's something, you know, a lot of times we'll move with IGC. I mean, they've been kind of separating a little bit, but you know what? We'll put on our side list to keep an eye. It's definitely one of the last things that I'm going to be looking at, though. And then let's move over to our scanners. Let's see what else we got going on out there, if anything jumped back up. So NBCN, we already know about. NVLN, jumping up, but absolutely no volume, do really no trading. I don't really like anything about it. IGC, we already spoken about. VLRX, 115,000 shares, nothing there. NIO, already spoken about. TRVN, absolutely nothing. NBEV, we've already talked about. AKRX, 297,000 shares, but just consolidated, nothing whatsoever going on there. ACRX is a new one to our list, jumping up pretty decently and on actually some really good volume. I saw this before, but I didn't really pay attention to it just because it really was doing nothing. 250, looks like we don't really have anything too great. We have great prints under 250, but at the actual 250 level itself, we got 3 bid prints. That's kind of pushing it back up. So this is one we'll put on our side list. Because from what I'm seeing just on the bigger print side of things, I don't really see anything that shows us that we're going to be able to break past that 3. Like I say, you know, there's some decent new buying coming in, but I see a lot of selling out there. So unless we get some type of new controlling prints within it, it's going to have to stay on our side list. And that's pretty much it for our gainer side of things. So looking at our loser side of things, STNG, absolutely nothing there. PYX, we've already spoken about. OGEN, absolutely nothing. VTVT was, you know, nice move yesterday, but then it just kind of died out at that 4 level. And then STM 280,000, but doing absolutely no trading. No new selling under 6, right, in NBEV. So there was selling yesterday at the 6 level in NBEV, but I don't see anything that really showed, you know, coming down into their 6. You can see, look at the prints here. There's just a lot of, it looks like Lakers colors. There's just nothing really there that told us it has to go down more. And there's really nothing. I mean, you can see 550, we had some ask prints that came back in, and you know, it just, I mean, that was from yesterday, but just, you know, nothing really. It's kind of a toss up right now because of the fact that it just really hasn't shown anything. The only thing that I'm really going on is the fact that we knew that it had buying coming up above. So IGC calls today. So that question in itself is kind of loaded. Do I think IGC needs to go back up above 6? Absolutely. But until it triggers, I wouldn't take anything. Okay, 550, we have some prints that came in on that ass side. We have beautiful buying coming up above, and I think it needs to go back above 6. But at the same time, guys, if you take the calls at 6, okay, and then we get 100 prints at 6, what's going to happen? So you have to, if you're going to trade it, you have to trade it correctly. So I 100%, and well, there's no such thing as 100%, but in my opinion, about, you know, a very high percentage, we're going to see this thing get back up to that double top at 6. Now it's just a matter of what it shows us at 6. If we get a ton of prints, we're going to end up getting a big pullback, and then, you know, and then you got to take it from there. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? All right, beautiful. So remember, 11 o'clock, there is still a little bit of time if you're looking to sign up for that Prince Workshop. And then, you know, the Prince Workshop, you know, is going to basically, like Bogo as IGC calls, we're going to not only be going over short term, but we're also going to be going over longer term and how to read those as well. All right, guys, so I'll talk to everyone in the chat room, and happy trading.